Debbie and Margie here from SimplySpecialCrafts with part 2 of Festive Memories from the 2020 Hunkydory Crafts collection. Margie and I have taken on that kit to see what we could come up with that would be creative and new and how many cards we could get out of that to inspire you. So here we go. You're up first, Margie. We did a lot.
We got a lot. Okay, so this one is called 12 Days, and I apologize. This is a new thing for me. Okay, reader glasses. All right. So 12 days, and it's got the partridge in a pear tree. There's a lot of little tiny toppers throughout this section in interesting shapes. And so it really creates a challenge of what can you do with all of this.
Absolutely.
This is our 12 Days of Christmas cardstock. Adorable, scoreable, and here's our foiled one with our little quail. Isn't it so pretty?
That's beautiful. Is that a quail or a partridge?
Partridge.
It's
Excuse
a
me.
partridge.
It's
yeah.
a partridge.
He does
of
have
course.
the little
it's
quail
the
top knot. I'd sing to you, but you'd rather I didn't. Trust me.
So let's take a look at what we've got. So for the first one, this is your A6. I believe.
European A6.
And I just took a portion of this part of the topper. You wouldn't think about putting it on that direction, but it worked for the border that I wanted. And I didn't end up wasting it because now I've got this extra down here too to use, and I wouldn't have been able to use it if I'd done it that way. 4
toppers out of one.
So.
One sheet if you're using A6, European A6 cards.
Yeah. So I went and I took my little pink iridescent, red iridescent from the May Arts ribbons, and I put it in and behind and wrapped it over my cardstock before I put down the cardstock onto the card. And then I just put little foamies in behind this, and it just turns out to just be this really sweet. I really liked the colors and how they worked together, and that's all it needed.
Sometimes you just don't want a lot.
Now, in contrast to that, I took some shimmer paper and put that as my backing on this one, just because if I didn't, I was going to run out of cardstock for the rest. And so here is our shimmer. Yeah, we've got this little topper with our woven.
Woven paper.
And I could have sworn that I used one of the toppers here to get this. Oh, I remember what I did. Man, it's been a little while. I went through and I actually cut my topper. So if you'll see, the gold's right in here and the print is on the outside. So it was just a way I just cut right around here.
Okay.
And I took this off of my piece.
Basically clipped
so
the frame.
I made a frame. Yep, I made a frame from my topper.
That's a great idea. Do you guys get what she's talking about here? She has actually cut around this piece right here where she had the gold foiling all the way around it. And she's left like 1/4 of an inch of the color showing. And then she's creating a frame inside of that. That was very clever.
So with the woven paper, that goes on and then this goes over the top. And I did
really
just
cute.
glue it because I wanted it to really stick all together.
That's really cute.
The little topper's on foam squares and it says Winter Wishes.
And aren't those from the 2014 Tattered Lace die set?
Yes.
I believe they are.
Yes. And then we've got our little holly stickers. And
super cute.
I took a little bit of what I had left. I actually believe that this was my last card that I made because it is all the little pieces that I had left. So I went and I cut and made a quick tag to fill up the space.
So she's making this tag bigger.
Making this little tag bigger, and again there were a lot of little tags on this one. So by making that a little bit bigger by using a piece of this, I then glued on my other topper that I had left over with the partridge in a pear tree right there.
I love the way you use the flourish sticker to be the string.
That's very
clever.
It was so much fun.
That's fun. That's really fun.
Thank you.
I love those flourish stickers. They're just so good for everything.
Should be on the side of your card.
Oh, do I have an inside?
You did have an inside on that.
I had an inside on this one. Hey, look at that.
Oh,
Thank you
used
for
the
catching
inside.
it, Bryce. All right. I didn't know what to do with this big, huge, giant 12 Days of Christmas. I thought,
That's
if I
cute
do it
inside.
this way on the outside of something, what else am I going to put with that?
Yeah.
So you are absolutely correct. Good
I love the
catch.
way you did
Good
that.
catch.
That's really cute, because I wondered what you'd do with that too. That's a difficult piece right there.
Yeah. So
Unless
cut
you
it on
had
out.
some big, big topper to go above that, which this really didn't provide.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. So I like the way you created an insert out of it. That's excellent.
Good.
Using all your material.
Good catch. Using all my material, but of course. This is part of our quail cardstock. I cut
Still a partridge, but
partridge.
yes.
Oh man! I don't live where there's partridges.
Partridge in the pear tree.
There's partridge family even. I should have the ability to think of one of them. This had such a cute little piece to it. I thought, why not add that and make a little bit more of a border? I had a little bit of my shimmer paper left over, so I glued this down and then just glued this right over the top.
I
And
love
used
this
my little
combination
topper.
of colors that you've done here. This is just striking. Where you brought that shimmer paper in behind. It's really inspired. I love the way you did that one.
And it was really fast.
It's
This
really
was one of
fast,
the
but it
easy ones.
works really well.
Yeah, it did. It worked well. Okay. This one.
Look, there's a quail in the middle.
Now listen. I can only take so much and then I'm leaving. So this is your standard 6x6 little square card. I did make it this direction to open. I think that so often we think about opening from this direction, and so typically I make shaker cards and I do it this direction, but I just thought, oh, why not have a little bit of fun with the person you're giving a gift to? Let them see how long it takes them to open up their card. So I just took the wonderful red and put it down underneath.
It is a great red, isn't it?
Yeah, and foam squared up the middle, flush on the inside. Foam squares, flush for the middle piece of the topper, and then foam squares for the top.
And once again, these little words are from that 2014 Tattered Lace Christmas set. Don't let the fact that it's 2014 scare you guys. The reason we have so many of those is because they are such great functional words that you don't see on all these tag sets, that when we had the opportunity to buy them, I bought enough that we still have just a few, but we still have a few of those Tattered Lace Christmas words left.
So I put together the statement of wishing you joy.
That's beautiful.
And we had some leftover pretty crepe ribbon from one of the bow making classes that was already done for me. So, take advantage of it when you can. And then this piece is, again, one of those same types of styles of cards. It's actually, I believe that this is a 6x6. Yeah, so it was a 6x6 square card. Took it, folded the two sides in, and then I actually added this piece. So I put in a piece right here from the back of this extra, put it in to give it the strength to the front part of the cardstock, which was just literally this portion of cardstock right up here.
Okay.
And then I butted it with some leftover red. But you can't see that I butted it right here because now you've got a border and you've created a border that didn't exist on that red. And so you just literally are butting up those two pieces.
Okay.
And then I used my very, again, uniquely shaped topper. And I like the challenge. It was great. So here's our middle section, 12 Days of Christmas, our middle inner flush, and then on foam squares. And then the reason why I made this on the back with this little flap is so that when you open up your card, it says especially for you this Christmas. Cute little topper. And you're just going to take it, fold it, take your little flap and it holds it in place so that it doesn't go anywhere. You can put it anywhere, hold it on up. So it's a fun way to do a different kind of card. You can think of your square cards very differently, or even your longer cards differently, and do something different.
That was a challenging set. You did a beautiful job on that. How many cards did you get from that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Beautiful. Beautiful. This, when we broke between sections, Margie says she thinks this die here, the Wishing You Joy, might be Hunkydory. I will check that for sure, and I'll note it in the newsletter, guys, because I'm not certain about that, but we'll check it, and then we'll link you in the newsletter so that you'll know. This next set that I'm going to show you, you have seen before. This has been another wildly popular Christmas set this year. This one is called A Timeless Christmas. I knew when I saw this I had to do it because this beautiful clock and the Christmas foliage, it's just a really, really charming, very classic, very old-fashioned looking scene, and it just spoke to me. It's got the traditional reds and greens, bright reds, bright greens with the holly, and then we've got this really beautiful second piece of cardstock with the gold foiling. Very, very pretty. Let's see what we did with that. And again, some of you have seen this because you participated in the class, but we'll show it to you again. I took this piece here, covered a 5x7, and I just ran a piece of my border across, dropped one of my tags just below the border, added a small 3-loop bow up here on top, added 3 little jewel dazzles to the bottom just to kind of lighten that darker area, and then I came in with my quickie glue pen and some light glitter touches around the flowers, and I just think it's beautiful. It has a really wonderful sense of balance, this card does.
I think they did beautiful artwork on
Gorgeous.
this set.
And this one looked really pretty, just taking one of those holly borders. Didn't do a lot to it, it didn't need it. It's 5x7. We put 3 jewel dazzles here, 3 jewel dazzles here. Before I put my topper on, I took my ruler and laid it down, just drew a line along my ruler on each side of the Hunkydory line in this topper, and I ran a row of glitter down to either side of this line just to draw some interest and attention there. I glittered up my accents just a little bit here, did the traditional on foam squares, glued flush on foam squares. It's a simple but really effective card. I think it's very charming.
I really like the idea of running that glitter and with your quickie pin.
I did exactly the same thing on this because I liked the effect on the other one.
It looks
and
so
when
pretty.
it works, you do it.
Yeah.
So turn my cardstock around. Here's my border. Ran those glitter lines again. 3 gold jewel dazzles this time. 3 gold dazzles here. Up my toppers up on some foam squares. A second little topper on top of that. Light glitter accents. Very, very pretty. And this one comes from this corner. And what I did here, I put this, it was clear that it wanted something up here, so I put the button there, and I thought, that looks really good. I put this topper here, and I thought, it's not doing it for me. What can I do? And I decided what it was that I had this odd bright white piece, or creamy piece, but it just had a lot of that cream, and I had this big vacant area here, and I thought what I need is almost to slant something in there. So I took my border piece and I just ran it at an angle underneath that topper, put the topper on top, and I like it very much. Yeah. Added glitter accents. I think it's as pretty as it can be.
All the glitter that you've put on all the flowers, it just really enriches it. It just sparkles.
They're really pretty flowers, and it's so easy to do on this one. You know, sometimes they just say, glitter me here.
Put sparkle here,
Yeah.
please.
This had 4 cards.
Official. I got it over the yellow dot. Okay, so by the fireside, and this is a neat way if you haven't ever done one of the deco large kits from Hunkydory. This is kind of almost like a play piece in here to try it out and see if you like it. And really, they are so much fun. And if you haven't done one before, all of these pieces set up and you can build your actual topper pieces that are made here and here. Actually, no, it was just this one.
Yeah, it's intended
That's right.
to make one image
One
only.
card. So you are to put all of these on your one topper, and you just build it up, and then you've got your one tag, and they really set it up for doing one card. Here's our plaid. I love the plaid with the little red bows. It was really cute. And then we also have some of the same pieces as what's on our border, just looking a little bit different. You've got background of Christmas trees, things like that in some of these. So I'm going to show you a way that you can get more out of your kit. I did not just get one card. So, good to know.
Why,
and
of course not. Not with us.
And this is the gold foil, and it really does do some nice shine and sheen. So I didn't add a lot of glitter. I didn't add a lot. I just kind of built up with them. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is what I did. This is the topper piece. So this is the one that came with it that you were to build everything up on. And I will tell you that what I did was I kind of laid out everything. I went through and I went, okay, I have this one, and I have my topper piece right here. And then how else can I make this work with trying to just keep expanding? So I believe that I had 4 different building pieces. So we'll take a look really quick just so that you can see, because otherwise I feel like it's not going to be able to look at them. Yeah, so, and I'm sorry, Bryce, cameraman there, I can't tilt them. So these are how they're built up.
So look at all those layering pieces on each and every card. That's amazing.
Yeah. So you can see that if you go through and you take your pieces and you actually look and place them, there's no rights or wrong here, guys. This is absolutely just what becomes your preference. And you build up these. This guy's got some stockings. This guy doesn't. This guy doesn't, and this guy doesn't. But he sure has some cute stockings. And I want to point out it's the only one that has stockings in the actual picture background, because we use the rest of these. So you've got trees, you've got your presents, you can see all these things. And the smaller that you get, the less that you really put on. So this is my back piece from here. And then I just took one of the bigger pieces and just 2 other of the little pieces that was over here. Just 2. So I didn't use tons. It's just enough to give it that dimension, and wow, 4 cards is so much better than 1.
And you've done also, one of my preferences too when I'm building these deco large kinds of images is to make sure I get at least 3 layers to 1 item on the card. If I have several areas that have layers, but at least one has 3 layers, and I think that we have enough dimension to carry it, and all 4 of your cards have at least 3 layers. So it's fun the way you've done that, and I like your design work too.
So what I did was I literally built up all of these pieces first. That's how I started. I didn't do anything else other than decide which size cards that I wanted to make and then go from there. So backtracking here for just the moment. Here is the first one. It was taking that topper set, a little bit of the red cardstock, just the plain piece of it, and then I ran some of the plaid from the actual side of the topper piece, and I made my own runner with it because these didn't come with a border runner.
Okay, but that's a great way to do it.
Here he is. And then here is my iridescent green. It is just so pretty, and I went through and I think that you can see how ripply it is. And it's because, again, I used that best glue ever, and rather than just tacking it down, I intentionally kind of moved my ribbon up and over so that it would have that ripple effect. And you can control it with that best glue ever with little dots to even making your little swirls to follow around your topper. So that's a lot of fun. This is another 6x6.
5 1/4.
5 1/4. 5 1/4. Okay, dokie. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
This is the back of the foil cardstock that's in the background back here. And then I just took some of that iridescent green ribbon, wrapped it around, and tucked it back and in so you don't see them on the back. And then we've got our little 3D and a little saying, and that's all that it needed. It was really cute.
Very cute. Love the green with those.
It does.
It's really rich with the green and the brown.
It really made it fun. Okay, Debbie, what size is this one?
This is European A6.
I do not have these sizes down yet. I apologize, guys.
That's not European A6. That is 5x7 that's been cut down.
Aha!
It's a 5x7, guys. It's been cut down.
5x7.
I just realized how wide it was.
Okay, so what I did with this was I took from the bottom here. I took from the bottom in the earlier one, and I just turned it upside down. You just take that section, that now becomes the top. Backwards,
okay.
like this. Okay.
Clever.
So, and then I went through and I took some of this and I cut it out. And I fussy cut it down and around this section. And I know that it's hard to see if I don't tip it. But going back and through and fussy cutting just that section out. And I attached it to the card at the bottom with glue. And then I put in my foam squares at the top. And it kind of came and sat and made a ledge. And kind of gave you a belief that maybe there's a fireplace in the background or something along those lines that your presents are sitting on with your candles.
That's fun.
And it comes out so cute. I will say that when you do this, your this may have been an A6.
Oh, yeah, it sure is because it's wider there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was right the first time. It is European A6. Yes, it is.
I do a lot of surprises, don't I?
Yes.
So you glue the bottom and you let it stick out a little bit, and your card has a nice little slope for everybody to see. And it fits in a 5x7 envelope because of how you do it that way.
Okay.
And this was very bland and boring over here in the corner, and so I just thought that it needed something, but nothing much, because there was so much going on here. But this was just so empty, so we put in a little one, and our last one. I'm going to show you because the craft style has something kind of interesting with it when you fold up their cards. I don't know that we've talked about this yet. We may have in another one of the videos. But the way that these craft styles work for their easel cards is they fold and actually protect your easel by folding them this way instead of folding them up and around. They just don't fold as nicely. If you flip this back, then it's going backwards, and somebody that's trying to open up their card is never going to be able to figure it out. So with this card, this is our outer easel card, and we've done a few of these and had conversations about them, so I'm not going to bore you too much with this, but it is Yeah,
It's
but
beautiful.
this that's down here is literally just a section of the plaid that I have cut and put down. And then I turned around and I took some of the wood and cut it down just a tiny bit smaller, place that on top. This is one of our Dazzle Merry Christmas stickers. This is, I think, my favorite writing out of all
I
of
think that's
them.
from Merry Christmas.
I believe so, yeah. And then I took the top section, as you can see, of the wood right there. And
Cute.
then went ahead and cut it through here and up through here. So normally when we do an easel card, you would take and you would leave this all green and you would then cut out. But what I did was I actually cut out each of the pieces, put a little square here, a little square here, and then took from my red just to give it a little bit of extra. Just gave it just that little bit on the sides. And then we just used, I just used some Christmas tree borders from, I believe, oh nope, these are
Those are the
stars.
stars.
The star borders from Sticker King. And then foamied on up the layers. And that is it. I got 4 cards out of this one. So
Perfect.
1 to 4, that's pretty good.
This one's called The Gift of Love. We have Mother Mary and Baby Jesus on this one. And we have this really large, beautiful, very ornate looking topper. And then 3 smaller toppers. And we also have this one. I love the foiling down this side. It's beautiful.
So pretty.
And then this is really kind of, it almost reminds me of a 60s, you know, maybe an Art Deco or, not necessarily an Art Deco, but what do you call that style, that, retro. It's kind of almost retro, that's what I was trying to say. But when combined with the classic nature of these, it ends up working. Let me show you what I did here. Here's my first card. This is a Hunkydory. Is this Hunkydory? No, well, this is the same size as Hunkydory, let me say that. This, I actually used a tattered lace die to create this card using that large piece of paper, and then I decorated it. This same style is available from Hunkydory, and this is actually considered to be a
Side stipper, isn't it?
yeah, well, it's a side stepper card, but the card size ends up being an A5, which is half the size of a piece of Adorable Scorable. So it's a big card. And I ended up using that large topper, which again, as you've seen me do before, I actually built that on another piece of cardstock. And then I popped the center section, put it up on some foam squares. I brought one of the smaller tags here and a smaller tag here, and I just think because of the very ornate nature of the way these frames are built, that it just looked, I played with lots of things and it looked best left alone at that point, because it was just really pretty.
I like whatever treatment that they did to this gold foiling really just makes it
It really is texturized,
gorgeous.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I used a piece of the cardstock from here to create my card base for this one. I used this fairly large topper from the corner and brought 2 pieces in here. I noticed in this one she wasn't holding the baby, so I used the one with the baby face down here, and then the Gift of Love up here in the corner. I love that one. This one just speaks to me, this card.
Debbie, that was such a good catch. I don't know that I would have caught that initially.
Oh.
Good job.
And here's another one using the other side of that cardstock, because you can tell I really, really liked that beautiful foiling on here. I used a European A6 card, and as we've discussed before, you can get multiple toppers side by side from one piece of cardstock if you're using those European A6. So I used my small topper in this. I actually covered it mirror board, cut my backer sheet slightly smaller to let my mirror board show, put my topper in, added another one, and again, just based on the very ornate nature of the foiling, I just didn't think it needed any more than that. Simple was best. This is also a European A6. I covered my European A6 in mirror board. I cut my backer sheet slightly smaller so that the gold would show, used my Peace on Earth, and left it alone because it's classic, it's beautiful, and that's all it needed.
And it looked really, I think that each one of these looks, gives that extra little bit by having those inserts inside. That makes it really, it's simple, but it is just beautiful.
Okay, so 4 cards from that set.
Okay, this one is Waiting for Santa. It is 2 little ones looking out the window, and in the top one, Santa is in the background. And then in the bottom, it says, "May you never be too grown up to search the skies on Christmas." Reading upside down is a trait. A trick, I tell you. Okay, we've got beautiful gold foil snowflakes intermixed with white on this blue, and I like the blue color. It's a really, I think that they've kind of gone to this blue for several of these this year, haven't they?
They have.
I
That
really like
rich, beautiful royal blue.
And then what child card should not have toys all over it? And it just kind of reminds me of what Santa would have in his pack. So let's take a peek. So Brittany has challenged us to try and use a couple of 7x7 cards. So I believe, if I remember right, that we have a couple of these in another set as well. So we did some 7x7 cards this time around, and it really worked well for these huge toppers.
Those are huge toppers. Huge.
Did we say they were big?
Huge.
So I just basically took right off from this side and put it right on there, attached, clipped it off. Did my shaker card as usual, which is putting your background of the kids in the window along with the flat border that's in the back there. Glue those down, and then you use your foam tape. Do not use just foam stickers. You've got to use the tape all the way around. Make sure that it's sealed. Put your acetate in there and fill her up with some goodies. I actually put little silver snowflakes from Nouveau in there along with little white pieces. I think that it was called Cloud.
Yes, it is called Cloud.
And then we use the snowfall acetate on this with just a little saying and our red and white bow. And it just turns out so cute. And I did do it as a shaker card that goes this way because when they open and shut, they can watch everything fall. And then this one has the insert in it. I guess I did remember an insert in one. And then we've got the Easy Peely Christmas stickers inside. And if you haven't had a chance to check those out, it's 10 pages of all different kinds of transparent stickers. So you won't see them on your insert at all. You'll never know that they aren't just perfectly pressed in there.
Yeah, they look like they've been printed onto the paper.
Absolutely.
This is maybe my favorite card you've done this season.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
This one I'm saving for last.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a trifold card. They're from Craftstyle. And I basically just took and I thought, well, this is kind of like a window, and don't kids' pictures and different pictures hang off the wall there? And
Sure.
since I had these little, very uniquely shaped tags throughout, I thought, how can I make this work? So I went through and I put these on, and then I used just some border jewel pieces of dazzle with the gold glitter. And then over here it says, make a wish this Christmas. Simple little red and white ribbon. nothing fancy. And then in order to make it work a little bit better so that it will stay closed, I went ahead and I used some of my border piece right here. So it covers up that little tiny bit. And I will tell you right now that I used every single piece of this card. So this is actually a little shy, and I had to put a section of border on just to be able to cover this part so that it would fit. And the same thing here, I put some gold Miri, I took part of the extra frame from the outside right in here, and I put that on here so you had a little bit of gold just to extend it out, because otherwise it wasn't quite long enough and big enough
Nice
for what
trick
was
to do
left
that.
over. And you'll never know that those aren't the same level. They glued down so nicely together, and then that border holds it shut. And again, a little insert on the inside.
Those inserts really do finish it, don't they?
They do.
They're beautiful.
I think we missed them this year by not having them handy.
You think? I think I've mentioned that a time or two, or 14.
For those of you that are watching us for the first time, we just didn't have access to our inserts because we wanted to make sure that everybody had their chance to get some before we got in some new ones. So this is an inner easel card from Craft Style. And when I went ahead and I used an insert, because like I talked about in one of the previous cards this evening, I put the insert on the bottom of the card. So when you're looking at this, you're looking at this from the back. But I put it on so that you could see something. It's got the little sticker, and it also created the bottom of the easel for me at the same time. So it served two functions by putting the border with the little teddy bear looking at you, and it made just a really pretty space. Oh no, I guess this isn't the side that's the stopper. This is my stopper.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my border piece.
You did this because you wanted something to show when you pulled it out of the envelope.
Yeah.
I recall you saying that.
Yeah. So this is our inverse card.
This is my fave. Look at this. She created a window.
So I went through and I took and cut my section of the snowflake piece, and I put it here on the front. And then I made sure that I got in the section of card. I used some adorable scorable down here. You don't really see it, but it kind of looks a little bit like carpet. It was some extra that I had left over. And so I thought that's what I'm going to use down there in the very bottom. And then you can just see it here, and I put my topper over the top. And part of the reason why I wanted to give it that sturdiness was I popped the little guys out on foam squares, and if you look at the other side, that topper actually sticks out on the sides, but you won't notice that it sticks out because we've taken and I've put snowfall acetate on the back. So I've taken and I've glued it down onto the back of the front part of this easel, and so it's just glued on. From there, I took our die from it's the Hunkydory Moonstone die. It has a window and I think a couple of other things. It's really a spring frame.
I'll link it in the newsletter. But what a clever idea to put that window there in front of the kids. That is just as cute as it can be.
And I will tell you a secret. This window is actually much taller in the die cutting, but I cut it off right here, shortened it down, brought it down so that it could fit as a square shape, and brought the bottom up.
I also like the way you put the silver here. It looks like snow on the ledge.
Yeah, those are the jewel glitter dazzles in silver, and it looks just like snow on the ledge, and it was so much fun to do. When I saw this, I thought, what can I do with that one? So that is the last one of our set from the Festive Memories.
It is.
Oh, and I got 3 out of this.
That concludes Festive Memories from Hunkydory 2020. Out of these 5 sets, we made 20 cards. And some of these cards are really big because the toppers themselves were really big. We know that it's your preference not to make great big cards, but sometimes when you get great big toppers, you do things you wouldn't otherwise do. And the cards turned out fabulous. So stretch your comfort zone just a little.
And
try
so
some of those big ones because they are great fun. And they were no more difficult to make.
No.
Just it required a little bit of extra creativity. So they were a lot of fun to do. We have 43 cards in total from the Festive Memories set. Not bad. Hunkydory says we would have 20. So 43 is a pretty good number. Once again, I'm Debbie from Simply Special Crafts, Margie from Simply Special, and we will see you next time.
Bye.